Fish is an animal that lives in a brook. Da 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 da, I wanna read a book. Da da ba 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 da ba ba ba. Hi, Sylvia. Gosh darn it, why is my phone thingy not cooperating? Hello, everybody. I'm a little bit late. Had to get my kitty cat situated. She, like most cats, she is very finicky, and apparently her food tastes different on the couch than it does on the floor. So we had to do kind of a little musical chair kind of thing and see where she wanted to eat. Not just what she wanted to eat, but where she wanted to eat it. So I am here. Woohoo! Let's see, I need to adjust a couple of things. Give myself a little more space to be sitting here. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar. All right. Oh, and I need to light my candle. Hi, Kit Kat. Okay. Need to light my candle. I'll be your candle on the water. All right. Thank you. All right. I think I'm almost ready now. It's been one of those days. All right. So let's start over. Welcome, everybody. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. And we are going to pull some cards using the medicine card deck. If you're new here, this is what it looks like. Each card has a different totem animal. And we, depending on who shows up, each animal has its own message and its own medicine, which is why it's called medicine card. It's not, a lot of people are like, oh, so you do medical intuitive things. I'm like, no, I don't. But medicine in the Native American. Hi, Anna. And so medicine in the terms that we each have medicine. We each have our own power, our own unique frequency that affects the world around us. That is why our holy people are called medicine people, medicine men and medicine women. Not because they're doctors, but because they are aligned with their medicine and they've done the work and the rites of passage and everything to know their medicine. So that's the medicine cards, and that's what we're going to be pulling tonight. And so if you're new here, the way this works is the first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a 1 card reading. And if you're not one of those first 5, or if you're watching the replay of this video, that's okay too. All you need to do is choose a number between 1 and 5, and then pay attention to that card when it comes up. And if you're watching this on replay, you have the advantage that you can fast forward. Although, like I always tell people, even if, like say you choose card number 6, or 5, the 6th card out of 5. It's been a weird day. If you pick card number 5, it may be worth your while, and this isn't just to get people to watch me or anything like that, but it may be worth your while to watch and listen to each card, because the universe speaks to us all the time, not just in the specific card that we choose, but if you're aware of it, if it's in your perception, then there's something to it that's meant for you. And so it might be worth it to stick around and just pay attention. And then if I say something on a different card from the one that you chose and it resonates with you, claim that. It's not just for, this isn't a laser focused thing. This is community. This is the unity of the universe. We are all one. And whatever is in your realm of perception has something to tell you. So then once we're done with the first 5 cards, what I do is I take those 5 cards and I put them into what is called the medicine wheel spread, which is basically the 4 directions and center. And then I do like more of a community reading from those 5 cards, kind of weaving the individuals into the community. And we'll see, and like I say with that too, like it's kind of communal. It might have more generalized messages for our culture or whatever. But again, if it resonates really deep in your own heart, claim it for your own, as your own message. And for those who have come in late and don't know me, I am Patrick. I am your friendly neighborhood shaman. I am here every Monday night at 6 o'clock Pacific time, give or take a few minutes. 6-ish. But none of the online platforms give space for ish. It's just like 6 o'clock. But anyway, so, and we're going to be pulling these medicine cards. I've got 3 spots left. And so if you would like a 1-card reading, all you need to do is say yes in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch and like my videos. That helps me out and that helps other people to find me, apparently. I don't know how those things work out. Hi, Lasadi. I don't know if that's how you pronounce Lasadi. But I have over 6 years worth of videos like this. And so if you ever need guidance, if you ever have a question, choose one of the medicine card readings and choose a number. And I promise that the universe has your back and the universe will bring to you whatever it is that you need to be told. Woohoo! What do I win for getting your name right? Awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Did you want a card? Oh, yes. Well, you said yes, it is your... Yes, it is in answering my question, but you said yes, so you get a card. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Anything else I need to say? Oh, and if you enjoy my work and would like to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, I also have my Venmo link in the description. This is my day job. This is what I do for a living. And so even though these videos are free, anything you give goes a long way to support me in walking my path and doing my work and learning my lessons so that I can come back and have more to teach you, right? It's like, that's wolf medicine. Wolf is the teacher. And my company's name is Perching Wolf Studios, right? Perching Wolf comes from a dream I had many, many years ago. So wolf is like my main totem. And wolf, so here's a little mini reading without even getting into the cards yet. That wolf packs always have the scouts that go out ahead of them that get a lay of the land, figure out what are the best paths to take, what's the best place to, ford the stream, etc. And then they come back and tell the pack so that the pack knows what's ahead. And that's basically what my job is. It's like I go ahead, I do my work, I follow my path, I learn new things, and then I come back to give others kind of a map of what's ahead. Of course, my path is not necessarily exactly what others are going to find, but you get the idea. So anyway, so thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me. Please share my video as well. Renax. I lucked out on the Saudi's name because I never know how to pronounce things, but Renax, you're asking if someone's coming back to you. I don't normally just answer the random questions like that, but this is going to sound maybe cliched and stuff, but this is coming from experience that you know, I don't know if Brandon is your lover, your family member, or whatever. That's the thing, I wasn't going to say his name either, but oh well. The question is not to ask if they're coming back to you. The question is to ask, who are you without them? And to focus on the fact that you are whole, complete in yourself, that you don't need anyone else to complete you in any way, whether it's a loving thing or a family thing. But I was in a long time ago with my ex-wife. Before we were married, we had a kind of a little split kind of thing, and I was asking the same thing. I don't know that this is the same exact circumstances, but I check with my guys, like, is she coming back? Is she coming back? And they're like, when you find yourself, there she'll be. So it's like, become so complete in yourself that their return is just like, oh, of course they're back, or it becomes non-consequential. If not that person, then someone else will come with that similar energy. So focus on your feelings, focus on what you want. How do you want to feel? Don't focus on the person. Don't focus on the ego, the personality. Focus on how you want to feel in the presence of this person. And either someone else will show up with that energy, or in a way you're manifesting, number one, you'll be okay no matter what. I understand, yeah, struggling to let them go. There are many doors that open. It's like, become so engrossed in finding out who you are. What do you love? What is it that you big old Chungus, I want to manifest big booty alien women. Have at it. If that's what you want, if that is your true desire, the universe must bring it to you. No judgment. But think of it like, this is lizard medicine, and how a lizard sometimes has to drop their tail to get away from a predator. And so it's like losing a part of themselves, right? But it's an essential part of who they are. Hi, Carly. And so that tail grows back, right? And so if he is really meant to be in your life, he will come back. When you find yourself, when you find that place, and it's hard. I know it's hard, and it's, I know I have been through so much of that. But I can tell you, having come out of the other side many times, that it is worth the journey, that this is actually an opportunity. And like back, when I look back on that time, similar time as you're going through, I see it as a turning point. It was such a turning point in my life that I am now grateful that that happened. And when I did let go of her and started focusing on, okay, I have this space in my life. Who am I? What do I want to do? And I started taking classes and exploring different books and different things that I'd never explored before. And her absence from my energy gave me the opening to bring more things in, to find out, like Kyle Cease said once, you are not what loves you, you are what you love. So think like if you have pets, if you have friends, if you have a movie or TV show or animal, certain kind of animal or something that you love it with all you have, because that love is here. It's not originating from those things or those people or whatever. That feeling is yours. Own it. And that is the feeling that you deserve. And that is the feeling that wants to manifest physically in your life, okay? So, and I know it's really hard at the end of the day. Grieve. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel the pain, the anger, the sadness, whatever it is. But know that if you're feeling it, you're greater than it. You're not drowning in that emotion. That emotion does not cover you. It's within you. You are covering it. So, and now I better get on to the readings that were coming here. So I hope that helps, Rena. I'm glad you showed up tonight, and I don't normally do that kind of thing. Every once in a while, maybe, but it's something really pulled at my heart. So I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad. I'm hoping that helps. So and not to plug myself, but if you want more help, you can check out my website, pertinentstudios.net. You can sign up for an actual whole reading or healing session or whatever. If there's more I can do to help you, let me know. Okay. So, all right. So, as I was talking, did anyone else? No one else said yes. So far we've only got 3 people. So I've got two more cards free if anybody wants them. All you got to do is say yes in the comments. Yes, there are unicorns in the back. There's a pair of unicorns. There's 1 and 2. They're very important to me. In fact, I have a selenite unicorn horn on my altar. Because don't tell anyone, but I am one. Just saying. Carly wants a unicorn. I actually carved the... We're going to get to the cards eventually. Bear with me. Bear with me. I actually carved this. Using a... Oh, you want a card reading? Oh, Carly, of course, duh. All right, you're on the list. I tell you, it's been a weird day. It's been a really, really weird day. But I actually carved that out of selenite. I've got another one that I have for my pipe ceremony. So, all right, with no further ado, let's get onto our cards. We still have one spot left if anybody wants some insights. All right. So the first one is for Sivia. Full moon, right? Yeah, I haven't got to bed before 3:30 this whole, like the last 3 or 4 days. The full moon always messes with my sleep patterns and my mental, whatever you want to call it. All right, Sivia, card number 1. Bum, 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 bum. Huh. All right, so card number 1 for Sivia is Dolphin in reverse. And so we were just talking, an hour ago or so, about this. And Dolphin is the breath. And we were talking about Sivia and I. Sivia is my beloved. Haha. But we were talking about rhythm and like meditation and how it's not a hit and miss kind of thing, like, oh, well, I'll have time at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, I'll meditate then. Or, it's a discipline. But it's a discipline like, I always think of when, I remember I read a book by, oh my gosh, David Carradine, the guy that played Kwai Chang Caine in the Kung Fu series. And it was a book about martial arts and stuff. And he said that he was talking about discipline and how, I know I, for one, kind of rankle when I hear the word discipline and you must do this and the rules and the blah, and I'm just like, my hackles go up. But it's like he explained, like the discipline of, say, karate, kung fu. It's like you practice it every day. You have the certain moves, or Tai Chi. I used to do Tai Chi. I want to get back and do it again. But it's like you do the movements. You spend this time doing the movements and creating that muscle memory so that when it comes time that you need to use it, it's thoughtless. It's you spend this time mindfully doing it so that when it's time, it's mindless. You don't have to think about it. Your body just responds. In fact, that's what Kung Fu means, I heard, is knowing how to respond. And so it's like that, but meditation is the same thing. It's kind of like, I read somewhere that to get what you really want, to get what you really desire, you have to go through its opposite first. And like if you want abundance, you may have to budget, right? And get used to budgeting and get used to relating to your money, right? And so at first you might feel more poor than you did before, but that level of poorness grows into the discipline that becomes the structure for abundance, right? Or if you want to become more social, you may have to pull away from society for a while to kind of get your own game in gear and figure out who you are and how to relate to the world. And so you may be more lonely before You know, or like with relationships, you may spend, I need to spend a lot of time alone to figure out yourself, your boundaries, and all that stuff. But by doing that, you create the more healthier space for a lover or whoever to come into your world. And that discipline, though it's a lack of freedom or a lack of connection at first, becomes the portal through which that openness and freedom comes. And meditation is the same way. By, you think about like how you spend money, you spend time. If you find it worthy of the expense to, set aside 5 or 10 minutes once or twice a day, that 5 or 10 minutes of non-freedom where you're, stuck in place, I have to do this, la 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 la. But when you get into it and you find that time and space and energy worthy, you're creating the space and the structure for more freedom to carry what you learn, what you connect, how you connect in meditation, bringing that into the world, to how you connect with the world, how you relate with the world. Does that make sense? So that little bit of discipline, that little bit of restriction, I don't really like that word. I like that less than discipline. But it's like building the infrastructure. And so it's cumulative. And so by doing it repetitively, right? Just like, and this stuff is just coming to me. Hi, Tiffany, you get the last one. Yay. We were waiting for you. This is just came to me, and a lot of times things will come and I'll say them out loud, and then they'll be like, oh crap, does that really work? Like, I haven't had time to mentally check this out, but and that reminds me, I haven't set sacred space yet. Like in shamanism, when we do our shamanic journeys, right? Oh, that drum is a little bit flat. I can tell it's too cold in here if my drums are flat. I need to turn the heat on. Fortunately, this drum is always good. So there's that. When we do shamanic journey, I don't like that drumstick. That's better. So when we do a shamanic journey, it's with this repetitive drum beat or a rattle, right? And that entrains your brain to a theta level where you can connect to the spirit realm. And that drum beat keeps and holds you there in that space, right? Well, if you think of each drum beat as a sped up version of daily practice of meditation, it's in between those drum beats that the universe holds you in that space of deeper connection, connecting to spirit, not just feeling good when I meditate and then, oh crap, now I got to go into the real world, right? When you're meditating and you feel that peace and that centeredness and that connection, that's the real world. That is reality, not this other crap. This other crap is manufactured by our education, by our societal expectations, by mental logic things, right? This is the real world. In fact, I have a comic I drew. I am just prattling. Tonight is probably going to be a really long session, so I apologize in advance. But as some of you know, one of my spirit guides, my upper world spirit teacher, is Mr. Rogers. And so sometimes when I journey to get advice from him, right, I go up and I end up in his living room. And we sit down in his living room, and the trolleys kind of goes back and forth every once in a while, and the fish bowl, the fish tank is there, and picture, um, and one time recently when I was talking to him, I'm like, um, no, he asked me. He goes, have you ever wondered why whenever you talk to me, you end up here in my living room rather than someplace else? And I was like, well, no, it had never occurred to me. And the funny thing is that one of the places in the land of make believe in the Mr. Rogers TV show was someplace else. That's the name of the place. But he's and I was like, well, no, I hadn't really thought about it, but why is that? And he said, because this right here is real. My living room, where you are right now, is real. Your world is the world of make-believe. And you can take that on whatever level you want, but again, it's like that. It's the discipline, that repetitive. And how that has to do with dolphin is that dolphin is a mammal who lives in the ocean, right? Like Dr. Wayne Dyer and other people have said, it's like you're a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. Your essence, your true self is spirit, is on like I was trying to think like is beyond form, is I was gonna like the thought came in informal. That's not the word. But you're formless. But when we move into this world, we take on a form, right? But that form is not who we are. We're a spirit we're a unformed, not uninformed. We're a formless being of light and love, stepping momentarily into a world of form, of matter, and we're experiencing that world. But then we mistake who we are as we are the form, we are the body, we are the ego. Hey, Charles, good to see you. Thank you. I hope you're doing well too. And we lose sight that it's the energy, it's the love, it's the joy that is who we really are, right? And so dolphin represents the breath. He is a mammal who lives in the ocean. He's a stranger in a strange land. He doesn't belong in the water. He breathes air. And so he has to have that discipline. He rises to the surface, takes a breath of air, dives back into the world. Rises to the surface to take another breath of air and dives back into the world. And so there's that repetitive. If you think of that, taking a breath as meditating, as touching into what is real, touching into your real self, right? And in a number of languages, the words spirit and air are synonymous, if not the same exact word. And so when we meditate, we let go of the form, we move beyond the form, we connect to the formless, we connect to spirit. And that's like dolphin taking the breath, because dolphin is spirit, dolphin is the breath. That's who he really is. And so in meditation, you connect to what's real, you connect to spirit, and you draw that back into yourself. So it's that spirit within you that is doing the animating of your body, of your life. It's dolphin's breath that allows him to swim through this world that he doesn't belong in. In a strange land, being a stranger in a strange land. And so that's what meditation is. It's about touching into what's real. It's not a momentary break from reality. It's not, some fantasy escape. You're not escaping from something. You're reaching out to something. You're reaching out to whatever is really you. And so in reverse, it's like a feeling of drowning and overwhelm and not sure, You know, not sure which way is up. Which way do I go to take a breath? I can't get my breath. You know, and then you might get a breath, and then you're back in and trying to solve all the world's problems and solve your whole life and all this stuff. When if you took the discipline to prioritize connection, prioritize what is real, then everything else falls into place. You know, there was a meme going around a while back about, you know, how we always think that once I get my stuff in order, then I'll be able to feel better. Then I'll be able to connect. When it's actually, when I start to connect, when I start to remember who I really am, then everything falls into place effortlessly, because things fall into place as a result of who you are. Otherwise, you're in your lower frequency ideas and ego and stuff of who you think you are, and you're rearranging boxes and trying to build up this thing of your own energy. No wonder we're exhausted, right? And so if you meditate, connect in, and I'm hearing this as much as I'm telling you, when you're in alignment, everything else falls into place without you trying. So, and the only reason dolphin is in reverse is that it's like, it's an opportunity to move into something that works better. It's like, it's not that you're doing anything wrong or that you're being punished or anything. It's like, no, there's this opportunity to try something that will make all the difference, will help you breathe, right? And will help you to be happy, right? And a lot of times when we meditate, God, it's going to be a really long session tonight, you guys. I'm so sorry. I can't stop talking. Another thing Kyle Cease used to, he went through this period where he meditated for an hour a day, and then I think he moved it up to 2 hours. And he'd say, like, every morning, no matter how long he'd been doing this, he'd get down, he'd sit down, and then his mind would start going like, oh God, I have to do this, and I have to call that person. This is stupid. I've got things to do. I don't have time to do this, you know, blah, 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 until finally he could sink below that, right? Like dolphins swimming below the surface of the storm on the surface. And he'd be in meditation and he'd realize, oh, I don't need to do that. Oh, that's not a priority. You know, and I do that on my own when I'm meditating or when I'm doing my pipe ceremony. Like, I'll have these big questions like, oh my God, I have to ask my guides this, and I have to ask that, and I have to see where this goes, blah, 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 blah. But when I start doing ceremony, I get so connected that none of that matters. This is just incidental stuff. And by staying connected, thank you, Carly. I appreciate that. She said that it's okay if because I'm sharing so much knowledge that I have an audience. That's very kind of you. Yes, Sylvia, time to slow down and breathe. Kind of like what I was saying with what I said to Rena earlier. It's like we have a tendency to ask the wrong question. It's like, rather than asking, why can't I breathe? It's like, ask, what do I need to do to breathe? One is from a victim standpoint, and it's all about changing the outside world. The other one is, I know I can breathe. It's my birthright to breathe. It's my birthright to be well. What do I need to do to make that happen? What do I need to align with? And through that alignment, the synchronicities start and people show up, information shows up, and, you know, and not just from the outside either, but intuitively, you might get prompts of things that no one else in your position or what you're going through has ever thought of before. Hi, Victoria. I would love to do that. The way this works is I'm doing card readings, and the first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a card reading, get a 1-card reading. But, oh, you're in PA, Pennsylvania? Did I get that? Awesome. I like Pennsylvania. My mom, we went to Pennsylvania when I was a kid, came home, and my mom painted everything, like the garage and everything, in the Pennsylvania Dutch style. And Pennsylvania is where Daniel Boone was born. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. I've got the 5 people spoken for, the 5 cards spoken for. But what you can do, we're only on card 1. I am like way behind tonight. I'm gabbing. But if you choose a card between 1 and 5, you know, near the Amish. That's so cool. Choose a number between 1 and 5. I just did number 1. I'm going on to number 2 now. And listen to that card. Even though it may be aimed at someone else, you will get to, the universe will bring whatever you need to hear. It'll piggyback it on whatever is said on that card, okay? So I'm glad you're here. All right, card number 2. Now that we're almost halfway through my time that I usually set for this. I appreciate you guys just listening. And it always astounds me when I get done. You're welcome, Victoria. It always amazes me when I get done and I look up and there's still people are watching. It's like, oh my God, you guys are persistent. All right, card number 2 for Anna. I'll try to be a little briefer, but what I need to do, since the pandemic, I've been wanting to do a podcast. And that's the place where I can get on and just ramble. So I think that's kind of the universe's kind of nudge for me that it's time to do that. And I can just get on and just start rambling. I'm a rambling man. Oh, that's Traveling Man. Oh, knows I'm a rambling man. I know there's a song. I know. God, I can't think of that. Did I mention it's been a weird day? All right. Focus. Awesome. Right. No, isn't it like the Allman Brothers or Marshall Tucker? Lord knows I'm a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can. Oh no, I'm a rambling man. All right, card number 2. We have a spectrum here. We go from one extreme of weirdness to another extreme of weirdness. Card number 2 for Anna is elk. And elk is about stamina. Elk's special power is that he can run for hours at the same pace. He can run at the same pace without getting tired. Kind of like kangaroos. Like kangaroos are kind of like perpetual motion machines. Like once they start jumping, it's like the springiness of their jumps actually fuels the next jump. And it's kind of like that with elk, where they can run and run and run and just never get tired. And so, and predators tend to be sprinters, right? And especially like with elk, their main predator is like wolves who hunt in packs, right? And they drag you down. And so when there's something trying to take you down, okay, I'm trying to, because as I'm saying this, I'm seeing other seeming contradictory things, but this kind of fits with what I was just saying about dolphin, in that rather than stopping to engage the wolf pack, because you're not going to win, it's to prioritize your well-being and run. And at first, you are always taught, well, you shouldn't run away from things. You shouldn't run away from your problems. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to run away from the problems. What I'm saying, it might sound like semantics, but it makes all the difference in the world if you're running away from something or whether you're running toward something. And so even though you technically are running away from the wolf pack, what you're running toward is your own well-being. And a better way to say this, when I was doing a reading for someone one time, I was telling them this same thing, right? And so mentally, on the table in front of me, I was kind of seeing this little drama happening, as like elk was running and the wolf pack was coming after him, and he was getting farther and farther and farther ahead of them, right? And all of a sudden, this horizontal image went vertical. And I realized it was about raising your frequency, right? If the wolves are clutching at your heels, you don't want to stay and engage them. If you stop to fight, you've already lost, because nobody wins. But, well, I guess the wolves win. That's not the best analogy. But instead of engaging with the wolves that are trying to tear you down, the best strategy is to raise your frequency where it belongs. It's like you're going toward yourself. Up here, this frequency up here is who you really are. It's not down here and we're trying to climb up the mountain to get it higher and higher and higher. Your frequency is naturally up here. And so it's letting go of the heavy things, letting go of the details, letting go of the heavy things that are dragging at your heels, trying to keep you down. By letting go of that, those issues and stuff, it's like your soul is like a hot air balloon. It naturally rises. And so it's not about trying to pull against the ballast and against the tethers, and if I were strong enough, I would break the tethers and I would achieve enlightenment. That is not it. It's about letting go of the ballast, throwing the ballast overboard, letting go of the tethers, cutting the tethers that are holding you down to the earth, and allowing yourself to rise to where you're meant to be. And eventually you'll be up here. You won't even be able to hear the wolves anymore. The wolves can only go this high vibrationally. They can't live up here. And so it's not running away from here and not dealing with things and escapism. It's actually claiming who you really are. And think about it from this higher altitude. You have a bigger perspective. You have more opportunities. You have more landing space. You can see the non-linear nature of nature, and you're not just stuck in that one place with the wolves, right? And so this is a sign. Elk coming in to run with you is a sign that you are doing it. That you know, things, the wolves might still kind of nip at your heels every once in a while. They might come out of nowhere, and it's that reminder that instead of stopping to engage with them, it's like, oh, there's my opportunity. Where am I? I am here. I am connecting to my higher self, my true self, my authentic self. I am a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. You know, and there's this one saying that I love. It's if you stop to throw rocks at every dog that barks at you, you will never get where you're going. I don't know if you can hear the car alarm, but it's like kind of like, yes, yes. I went to this Imbolc ritual the other night, and we couldn't fit there. It got quiet as we were getting ready for the ritual, and all of a sudden there was this really subtle little, like, you had to really kind of listen to hear it, but there was like this music someplace, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We didn't know if it was somebody's phone. We didn't know if it was someplace in the building. We looked and we couldn't figure out what it was, and finally it's like, it's the Fae. It's like when you hear those things, if you're in the middle of something and someone's phone goes off or whatever, it's kind of like, there's a tradition. I know they did it in Plum Village, that the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, I never can say his name right, Thick something, but they, at random times during the day, they would ring a bell. And as soon as you heard that bell, it was a sign to stop, take a breath. Where am I? Ground. What was I just thinking? What am I just feeling? And so those random things are actually little indicators to pay attention, right? Anyway, tangents galore tonight. But anyway, so it's like, focus on and prioritize yourself. When you do, it's like I said, it's effortless. You don't push a hot air balloon into the sky. You don't propel it into the sky. It carries you. So when you connect to that spirit that is you, it carries you, not the other way around. It's effortless when you connect in there, and that's the way that they can run for hours. It's like spirit carrying them, moving them toward their truth, toward their wholeness, toward their well-being, toward their freedom. So I hope that makes sense. I just need to make a note of what cards are coming up so I can do our community spread at the end. All right, number 3, card number 3 for Lasadi. I knew I should have put a t-shirt on earlier. When I do this work, it's like there's so much energy. I get so hot. All right, card number 3 for Lasadi. Awesome. All right, card number 3 for Lasadi is Turtle. Turtle. Lasadi, do you do any kind of reading or healing or oracular work or anything like that? the fact that I felt compelled to, you know, you're a shaman when you're never more than an arm's length away from a turtle shell. The fact that I felt, that's something, oh, you're not, okay. I feel like that might be something for you to explore. That's not a command, that's not, you have to fulfill your destiny or anything like that. I think that if you started exploring, like doing like oracle cards or tarot or even mediumship or something like that might be a good path for you, because the fact that not only that turtle came up, but that I felt compelled to pick up the turtle shell. I just happened to have it over here, and it's a big, big turtle shell. Turtle was one of the very first divination forms. Writing. It can be stories, yeah. Yeah, like, so you're a writer? I just got all kinds of tingles and stuff. Give me a second. I need to tune in on this. It's we don't tend to think of it this way, but it's like, yes, telling stories. Oh, you like to write horror stories? That's the one area I don't, well, not necessarily the only, but I don't do well with horror stuff, but if that works for you, there's something in that for you. But using story to how do I want to say this? Well, it's like parables, just like, you know, I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I was raised with the parables and such, right? And I was taught that that's how, you know, Jesus taught. And I, you know, come to find out that's how a lot of masters and teachers teach. And, you know, and the Celts, for instance, you know, I'm Irish, and the Celts, before they had written language, passed their knowledge down through song, through the bards, right? Those were holy, their holy texts were oral, and that is how they learned about society. That's how they learned their relationship with Creator, with the world, with nature, etc., etc. And so that's a really important aspect of it. But I was talking more about like having oracle cards, like pulling a different card each morning, whether it's a tarot card, and actually doing readings for people. You're only 14? Oh, that's awesome. I would recommend, as your friendly neighborhood shaman, to explore tarot, like tarot cards or oracle cards. I know that there's a lot out there that are, there's a lot of goth tarot decks or oracle decks. I remember seeing a vampire one. There's all kinds of stuff if you start to look. Your mom has those cards. I think you're a natural. I think you would take to it really well. I think because turtle was one of the first divination tools. Number one, so a turtle shell has on the very top these panels there's 13 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait, where did I start? I started, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 panels on the top of a turtle shell, which is like the 13 months in the year. And then there's, I won't count them all like that, but there's 28 panels around the edge, like the 28 days in a month. So turtles carry that oracle, prophet, seer kind of energy. And they used to, what they would do is they would take a turtle shell and they would put it into the fire until it cracked open, and then they would read those cracks, and depending on which days and which months, etc., and what the pattern of the cracks were, etc., they could tell your future. They could do prophecies. They could do oracle things. What was I going to say? Oh, and it's believed, I read someplace that that's actually where the I Ching came from. If you know what the I Ching is, the Chinese, where it's a series of, gosh, I can't even think of what they look like now. It's like bars and, Google it, I Ching, I-C-H-I-N-G. But it was like from the cracks in turtle shells that they created the I Ching, which is one of the oldest known divination forms. So, I think the universe is calling you. And as a writer, I could see, so I don't tell fortunes, I don't prophetize, I don't say this is going to happen, but I do feel like there's a certain path open for you that where you may end up creating your own deck or your own oracle system. I don't normally do that say those kind of things. And that's not set in stone. It's like you still have full freedom and choice. I just feel like there's an opening there. There's a possibility. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. But the other thing, so beyond the divination part of turtle is also an embodiment of Mother Earth herself. There's a Lakota myth story about Sky Woman who fell from the clouds at a time when the earth was all water. And a flock of geese saw her and caught her on their wings and lowered her to the water. And then Turtle rose from the water, so she had some place to actually sit. And then it goes on, I won't go into the whole story, but it goes on to the different animals volunteering to dive to the bottom of the ocean to get mud to spread on Turtle's shell to create land. And so, and even to this day, North America is known as Turtle Island from that story. And it actually, I've seen pictures, like people have actually drawn the turtle around. It's like, oh my God, it really is a turtle. So do you feel kind of a pull to stuff that has to do with spirits and stuff? Absolutely. I think this is part of that. I have no idea. I'm feeling maybe a little bit of mediumistic kind of things, like being a psychic medium or something like that might be in your future, but take that with a grain of salt. But that whole thing about that connection to the earth, right? If you don't know about it, do some research in the Delphic Oracle. Delphic is Delphic. If your mom has those abilities, she most likely passed them on to you. And if she has those abilities and she does those things, I can't tell you how many people I know who do readings and stuff like I do that wish we had parents that knew that stuff. Ask your mom. Ask if she will teach you and practice. If it's something that's calling to you, like you said, the spirits and stuff calls to you, explore that. Those feelings, that's your heart asking you to explore those things. That's a compass. That's a part of the spiritual compass that we're given. When we feel those pulls, when we feel drawn to something, that's our spiritual compass saying, this is our path. So I would ask your mom. I would explore that, and I bet you will. I dollars to donuts that you will take to it really easily. And I keep hearing talking about the Delphic Oracle, that kind of thing. So Google that if you don't know about it. But I'm really excited for you for what lies ahead on your adventure. Give me a second. I need to grab my charger because my phone is turning red. But, you know, and the whole thing with Turtle as Mother Earth, it's a very, like as a shaman, my job is to, like they always talk about how a shaman walks with a foot in both worlds, the spirit world and the physical world, right? And the job of a shaman is to go to the spirit realms to get healing or energy or information or whatever to bring back and heal this world. So even though it can be out there and airy-fairy and stuff like that, and I always tell people I can out-weird you any day of the week. The whole point of going out there is to come back and to ground that energy, to heal the earth. So it's not just being all airy-fairy and everything like that, but the more grounded you are, the higher you can fly, right? And that just gave me an image of Gamera. I don't know if you know who Gamera is, but there's like Godzilla. There's a Japanese series of movies about Gamera, and he's this turtle from outer space, and he has jet propulsion out of his shell. He pulls everything in, and then the jets come out, and he spins, and he's gigantic, and depending on which movie, he either destroys things or he saves things. Anyway, so it's like the more grounded you are, the whole point of going out and doing spirit stuff is to bring it back and ground it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful to you. You know, and I hope your mom is open to teaching. You're right at that perfect age. You're right at that age where that's when most of us started asking questions and looking into things. And and if your mom is already into those things, she's one of your best resources. Using the Mother Earth thing again, right? Mother Earth being the resource, your mom is a resource. And like I mentioned, the Delphic oracle, and the oracles, the women who were the Delphic oracles, there was a term for them. It had something to do with pythons. And it's like there's this reptilian energy. Like most reptiles, like turtles and alligators and snakes, they have been through so many changes for billions of years, right? Without changing. They're so well adapted to their environments that they've been unchanged for millions and millions of years. And so, and the reptilian energy is very feminine. It's that wild, primal, earth goddess energy. And so between like python and turtle and alligator, etc., it's like this unbroken mother to mother to mother line, unbroken chain of wisdom that you're ready to tap into. And so I hope, I look forward to finding out in the future what you've done with this, because I just got chills. You were meant for that life. So for what it's worth, right? I'm not the be all know all. So anyway, I hope that is helpful. If I can do anything, again, you can, like I said, you can go on my website, you can connect with me there, even send me a message from there or something if there's anything else I can help, or, you know. And I do mentoring for students too, if that's something of shamanism. I don't know if I've done, I would have to have, of course, this is all logistics, but I would have to have your, parental approval, but I wouldn't see anything wrong with having a 14-year-old mentor if that is something that feels good to you. But again, I'm just putting that out there. I'm not propositioning or doing anything like that. So you have resources wherever they come from, whether it's your mom or someone else or books, etc. So good luck, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. All right, card number 4. I feel like I'm like kind of dancing around there, like, oh, I have to watch my wording and stuff. Make my intentions clear. Clarity. So you've been wanting to go to school for witchcraft. My friend Judith Laxer, I don't know if she does it just in person or if she does an online version, but she has a year and a day mystery school for Wicca. And her name is Judith Laxer, JUDITHLAXER. And her website is judithlaxer.com, I believe. It might be Reverend, R-E-V, but you could email her or connect to her online. Tell her that I sent you. I've known her for over 30 years now. And she might be able, if not personally, be able to direct you in the right direction. So, and there's also a good series of books by Silver Ravenwolf, I believe. There's like, I think it's a 3-book series about, and it's built for teenagers on how to begin witchcraft and Wicca, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of resources out there. So I feel honored that I got to know you when you were just beginning. Anyway, all right. Thank you, and let's move on because yeah, wow, yeah, I need to do a podcast. Maybe if I had a podcast besides just this. Oh, the books, or there. I don't remember the name of the books themselves, but I think there's 3 of them. But the author is Silver Raven Wolf. And I think like one of them is riding a silver broomstick. And it's actually kind of they go through and they have like, there's a chapter and then there's exercises, and then there's a chapter and then there's exercises. So it is actually focused on teaching, on learning these things, not just reading about them and, oh, that's so cool, but about actually applying them. So I really hope that's helpful. All right, card number 4 for Carly. You guys are so kind to be. I still got people watching me. You're so welcome, Lasati. You are so very welcome. I'm just happy to help any way I can. So, yay. All right, card number 4. Would you like to swing on a star? What I was saying is I need to do a podcast so I get all of that out of my thing so I can focus on doing readings on Monday nights. Maybe if I had that extra runoff, a place to like have all the tangents run off, then I can focus better on Mondays. Who knows? We'll see. I just appreciate your watching. All right. Apparently I really need to shuffle up the cards for Carly. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a fish? Awesome. All right, Carly, card number 4 is Spider, Grandmother Spider. Even though she's this tiny, she is one of like the biggest and most complex totems that there are. The main thing is being the creator of your own reality, right? Spider literally builds her world from the inside out. Her threads come from within her, literally. Hey, Daro, welcome. And so it's like, just like the picture, like she's in the center of her world. Her world is built around her from within her, right? And there's well, we mentioned discipline when I was talking about Dolphin earlier. And in the creating of your reality, there's a certain amount of discipline, but not in the like bearing down and doing what you don't want to do. Or it's more of mindfulness, of paying attention to what you are connecting to, right? like the threads of spider, she doesn't just connect these webs that are going to be the support of her world to just loose stuff that's not going to support her. She connects them to things, even though her web, you've all seen the webs in the wind, they might blow back and forth and flex and everything, but they're solid. They are connected to solid things that support them, right? And so it's not just, oh, I create my reality, I can do anything I want. You can, but there's also that element of mindfulness, of paying attention to, if I connect my threads to this thing or this person or this event or whatever, how does that make me feel, right? Because that's, it's superstring theory, right? From quantum physics, string theory. You are literally on this world that's built by strings. And how do you read strings? Through the vibrations. Just like a guitar or something, right? It's the strings. A friend of mine who does sound baths and stuff, she always says, before we made music, music made us. Everything in the universe is vibration. And that's where the string theory comes in. It's like everything that is physical began as a vibration of one of these superstrings. And so the things of the world that seem solid are just a frequency of energy. They're temporary. And it's the strings themselves that are the eternal. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but the thing is, the fact that her coming up is kind of a sign that you are becoming more aware of your effect on your immediate world, right? And really learning to listen to your intuition, right? Because spider will be in her web, and if she doesn't pay attention to her world, to what she's creating, to what the different strings are, some of the strings are sticky and some of them aren't. And if she forgets which ones are sticky, she's going to get caught in her own web, right? And so there's that sense of being authentic, right? Like that old saying about, how liars get caught in the web of their own lies. And so it's like realizing which threads are sticky and which ones are safe to be on, and listening to the music of the web, right? It's like the fly getting caught in the sticky threads has a certain frequency, a certain music, a certain song that spider hears, and it's inviting. And so she goes like, oh, that vibration, that's dinner. And so she goes to eat dinner. But something else comes and it's like, oh, that's a bad vibration. It's a chaotic song or whatever. It's like, oh, I want to avoid that. And so it's really that starting to pay attention, starting to things starting to click into place where you're starting to not need so much outer confirmation and outer validity and other opinions, etc., to know what is right for you, what is appropriate for you. And to ride those vibes and to know. And here's the other part, it's being how do I put this into words? Being aware enough in those vibrations, being in tune with your intuition enough to know which threads to clip. right? Um, if something is not supporting you, if something makes you feel, if a certain vibration of a thread has a certain vibration that makes you sick to your stomach, cut it. It has no place in your life. We're not meant to write it out. We're not meant to like figure it out, etc., etc. If it doesn't feel good, if it's not supporting you, because this is your world. So there might be a little bit of cutting threads. And in that case, remember that when we do something like that, there's always this sense of, oh my God, but how is that going to affect the other person? Oh, I can't do that to them. Or what are the other people going to think? And this is a reminder to take everyone else out of the equation, right? This is your world. This is the web of life that you have created within the greater web of life that is the world, right? And each of us has our own web. And so if someone else's web is infringing or connected to yours and is creating all this chaos, it's like, phew, time to let it loose, because you deserve to be in the center of your own integrity and well-being and joy and purpose. And no one else has a say in it. And the thing is, if you're feeling you need to cut a cord, or you're feeling something isn't supporting you, if it doesn't feel good for you, it's also not good for them, because we're all connected, the web of life, right? We're all connected. And so if something doesn't feel right to you, no matter what the other person thinks or feels, they may not be as conscious as you are. And so, yeah, they might get hurt by something you do or say or whatever. But if it's beneficial to you, it's beneficial to them as well. And that's part of that listening to the intuition, listening to the vibes coming in for what's appropriate for you, what's right for you. And if it feels right for you, like I said, like your heart. So you got your web, everyone else has their own web. And the threads that connect all those webs together are the threads of our heart, right? Your heart connects you to every other heart in the world. And so if your heart says to do something, if your heart says you need to cut this cord, you don't have to figure out why. You don't have to figure out the circumstance. You don't have to make it okay with the other person. If your heart truly and honestly, authentically says to cut it, your heart, which is connected to everyone else already, has already done the calculations to know what is best for everyone. The heart doesn't work in isolation. Your heart doesn't tell you to do something unless it is for the best of everybody. It's that interdependent, like, some of the stuff that's going on in the political world and everything right now, but we're all connected. What's best for one person, for increasing someone else's well-being, giving people food and security and safety, etc., is best for everybody. If you take that, so your web is part of a bigger web, and if you take that web, and if you look at it horizontally, and you take one piece, like your web, and you lift it, you raise the frequency, every point on that other web lifts. You can't act in isolation. What's best for you is automatically for the mutual benefit of everyone else. It's a non-zero sum, right? It's not an equation. It's not an equation of A plus B equals C. If you take A from one side, you have to add it to the other side. No. We're all in this together. We're all one, right? Like they say, if you took the sum total of souls, of minds, of hearts in the universe, that sum total, one. There's only one of us here. We're all different aspects of the same source energy. If and when you return to your source, like through whatever journeys you go, the closer you get to your pure, most authentic self, we will all meet you there, because we're all, you going back toward your authentic self, and me, for example, going back toward my authentic self. We're approaching the same source. And at some point, separation is an illusion, right? So celebrate the uniqueness of your web and the vibration it brings to the web of life. And don't let anyone else try to bully you or guilt you into compromising your own well-being to help support their web. If anything, by building the best web you possibly can, you inspire others to find their own web. Or you can, from that point, you can teach others, say, hey, why don't you try this, right? And they'll be like, oh, okay. The whole point is that none of us are more or less powerful than anyone else. None of us are more or less valuable than anyone else. We are all divine by nature. That is our common denominator. Everybody, everyone. And so by being the best one that you can be, you automatically raise everybody else's frequency. Whew. I hope that makes sense. All right. All right, card number 5 for Tiffany. What did you say, Carly? Bill? I don't understand what that means. Perfect sense. I hope that's helpful. And it's like, celebrate yourself. Celebrate the world that you've created. And if there's something in your world that doesn't, that kind of like I was talking about the wolves earlier, that kind of drags you down, I don't want to just say, cut it off, but check with the web inside and see, is there something to do to heal that, or is it better to cut it off? Awesome. I'm glad it's fitting in your life right now. Awesome. I love hearing that. Yay. All right, card number 5 for Tiffany. Every time I say your name, Tiffany, or see it, I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our heart is the only sound. Pow, pow. I apologize for that, because you probably get that a lot, Tiffany. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. That's what I think of when I hear that name. Okay. Whew. Need a water break. Cool. So Tiffany, card number 5 is Hawk. And Hawk is basically the messenger of the gods. You know, like, you know, and these cards are semi-limited in a way because it just got Hawk, but it doesn't have the different varieties of Hawks. But the one that is coming to mind is the falcon. The falcon is the fastest animal on Earth. You talk about messenger of the gods, right? And in Greek mythology, that's Hermes, or the Roman Mercury, right? But we talk about Mercury in retrograde and all that kind of thing, and that's part of why Mercury is called that, because it's so quick to go around the sun. You know, in Mercury, the metal or the liquid is called quicksilver, as it defies other rules of what other substances do, etc. But the point being that Hermes is the one that had the winged shoes, like the winged boots. He could fly. He was speedy. He is the god of commerce, of currency, of communication, of trade. And it's because he was the connector. He was the bridge, right? And he was the only god of the Olympian pantheon who could go into Tartarus, which is their underworld, their land of the dead, and go right from Tartarus up to Mount Olympus, the home of the gods, without having to do anything special to you know, pay the ferryman or anything, literally. He was the only one who had access to both extremes. So he was the messenger of the gods because he could be anywhere and everywhere at once. And Falcon, Falcon is the fastest animal in the world. In that when they dive at prey, they go up to 200 miles an hour. And people would be like, well, but they're just diving. Well, but they're able to go 200 miles an hour without exploding or flying into a bunch of feathers and stuff like that. They are able to go 200 miles an hour. And so, like we talked about the messenger of the gods, you know, the one that can go between literally heaven and hell, the physical to the spiritual and back, and that's why it's the messenger of the gods. It's hawk, you know, whereas eagle tends to soar, right, way above everyone else, untouchable, unreachable. Everyone aspires to be eagle, but we're all looking up at him. Right? So he's kind of great spirit floating above us, whereas hawk doesn't fly quite as high, and most of the time hawk spends in trees or on light posts or whatever, scanning for rabbits, You know, so it's from up high, down to the ground to get around it, back up and down, back up and down. So it's that connector, that bridge between heaven and earth. And so he carries those messages. He carries that earth energy up into the skies, and he carries that sky energy down to the earth. And when we bring Falcon into it, Falcon being so fast is like the presence of the divine itself. Not just a messenger of the gods going between things, but the actual presence of the divine in all things. And so, and that's what's coming up for me, for you, is that aspect of hawk medicine more as Falcon. You know, and Falcon is, at least I always associate Falcon with Horus and Osiris, right? An Egyptian, like Horus. I hope I don't get this backwards. But Osiris was the king of the gods, right? And his brother Seth killed him, dismembered him, and cut him into 13 parts and cast him to the corners of the world. And Isis, who was the queen of the gods, the mother of the gods, his wife, had to search, walk the world, and finally found all but one of the 13 parts of him, and she put him back together and brought him back to life enough that he could, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go into the details, but so she was able to put him back together, except for one part, but it was enough that he was able to impregnate her, and she gave birth to Horus, who was the reincarnation of Osiris. And so Horus, when you see that Egyptian eye, that is usually the eye of Horus. And it is about that divine presence, especially with Horus being the reincarnation of the divine into the physical, right? And that, I mean, what better like bridge between heaven and earth, spirit and physical, is there besides being the divine presence in this world, right? And so it's kind of like that's what you're doing. That's what is happening with you right now. Is that awakening of that divine light, bringing that divine light into every moment. And I've seen diagrams of the Eye of Horus and how it actually mirrors, if you look in the brain and the pituitary gland, right, which is the third eye, the Eye of Horus mirrors the structure of the brain in that area of the brain. And so it's about that vision. It's very shamanic, for lack of another term, but it's that vision, being the visionary, being able to see beyond what is apparent to the other side of the veil and bring that back, right? Being the messenger, the visionary that brings the message back to this world. That is the glue that holds the two together. That is the common denominator, the portal between spirit and physical. And I don't know where to go from there. It's like big, big, big things are happening for you, you know, and you might be going like, what the heck is he talking about? I don't feel that, but I'm getting nudged to mention that if you are not experiencing that, if you are not feeling that, that this is your sign. This is the signpost from Spirit saying you're almost there. It's like, welcome to messengerhood. And like a friend, a long time ago, a friend mentioned something to me that just clicked a lot of things into place. And she was like, so when you're in an elevator and you hit the button and you start rising, do you feel light? Do you feel airy? No, you feel heavier. So you might not be feeling it right now. You might not be feeling the freedom of soaring and that kind of thing right now. You might be feeling heaviness, and I'm thinking this is like coming back to me, right? Like a lot of stuff that's going on with me right now. But if you're feeling that heaviness, it's because you're rising. It's the inertia. Because when you're rising in that elevator, you feel heavier. You feel pushed. You feel kind of pulled down to the ground, right? So as you're rising, at least initially, there may be that drag, but where you are headed, it's like that heaviness is actually a sign of progress. So, whew. And with that, if I were sticking to my schedule, we have 10 minutes due to the 5-card reading. So that is all the individual cards for tonight. Thank you everyone who came in and said yes and got a reading. Now what I am going to do is take all those cards, all the 1-card readings, and I'm going to put them into a 5-card spread, which if you were ever to come to me for a reading, that is generally the reading, the card spread that I use is called the medicine wheel spread. It's the 4 directions and center, right? And so we're taking, this is kind of also a demonstration of how connected we all are, or how our individual path affects the whole, because we're taking all those individual messages and stories and putting them into the context of community. Okay, one more. Where are you? Did I miss you? Hawk, elk, turtle. Who am I missing? Spider. He was the last one in the deck. All right, so let's see. You know what? You guys probably don't want to see my dirty, dirty floor, so I'm going to make a makeshift little floor covering here from the red cloth that I had out to do I had this red cloth that I put out on my balcony overnight on Imbolc Eve to collect the dew and, as it turns out, the rain from the water that is sacred to Bridget. So spare you from looking at my dirty, dirty floor, because I'm going to bend my phone down in a moment so that you can see the cards. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar. I'll be better off than you are. Let's see. Or would you rather be a fish? Fish is an animal who lives in a brook. Da 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 da, or read a book. Da da ba 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 da ba ba ba. Ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da. Oh, would you rather be a boop? You know what? I need to let's see if I can. Oh. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar. Or be better off than you are. Can you see all of them? Or would you rather be a mule? Okay, I think you can see them all. So, this is, my phone is set to mirror, so I don't know how, if you're observing this, it might be backwards, I don't know, but we have east, south, west, north, and center. And so we've got the one card in reverse. It's kind of interesting because we have 4 out of 5 cards that are upright. And just the fact they're facing the same direction is phenomenal because law of averages should have at least one of these cards facing the other way. And so it's already kind of profound before we even get into the context of the cards. But, so I like to start in the east where the sun rises. And so in the east, which is air, we have dolphin in reverse. And dolphin is about breathing. It's about air. The fact that like out of all 5 cards, this is the one that's in reverse. It's kind of like this is like the last piece of the puzzle, right, that needs to click into place. And what that means is that you or we are doing better than we think we are. That things might seem pointless or chaotic or doesn't make sense. In reality, everything is in place, and this is kind of like the linchpin to just like make everything else click. It's like everything else is in place. We just can't see it because of our perspective. We just can't see it because we're so busy trying to catch our breath. Oh my God, I can't breathe. I need to catch my breath, and trying to earn what is our birthright. Well-being and wholeness is your birthright. And so dolphin being about the breath, like I mentioned earlier, being a mammal that lives in the ocean, air is necessary, not just air, but the regular rhythm of rising for a breath, diving into the water, rising for a breath, diving into the water. So it's like all these things are in place. They're just waiting for us to stop trying to force things. What do I want to say? And really prioritize who we are as spirit having a human experience rather than a human having a spiritual experience. When you're a human having a spiritual experience, then anything that seems paranormal is weird and scary. And like, I remember I used to have a day job in a warehouse. And I remember one time someone was just talking about their mom, and all of a sudden their mom called on the phone, and they were freaking out. Like, that's too much of a coincidence, blah, blah, blah. And it freaked them out because it was abnormal. But what if we flipped that on its head and said that's the thing that's normal? Synchronicities and miracles are the norm, and the holding our breath and waiting for things to work out, trying to force things, is the abnormal thing, right? So this is just waiting for us to align. It's about prioritizing who we are and recognizing what is already ours. Recognizing what we are, who we are, and claiming that. And having that rhythm of like returning, prioritizing connection to spirit. And then, like I said, like in a lot of languages, air and spirit are synonymous, if not like the same exact word. And so dolphin rises for a breath of air, a breath of spirit, and then it's that breath of spirit, he carries the spirit within him, and that's what allows him to dive and to swim through his watery world. And so it's about being, I was going to say be the change you want to see in the world, but that's not exactly it. But in a way it is. It's kind of like, rather than waiting for the world to make us feel all right, to validate our greatness, it's up to us to just breathe it in. It's all around us. We just need to breathe. We just need to recognize what's already happening, who we already are, right? And to play, right? Dolphins, I mean, it sounds like they're constantly laughing. They've got that permanent smile on their face. And one of my favorite passages from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is about how humans always thought that they were superior to dolphins because they had invented industry and digital watches and warfare, and all dolphin ever did was muck about in the water having a good time. And at the same time, dolphin knew themselves to be superior to humans for the same exact reason. You don't have to prove your worth. You are enough. There's nothing you need to change, nothing you need to acquire. Like Mr. Rogers said, you're perfect just the way you are. And it's a matter of just changing our perception, right? Air, this is the place of air, so it's the mental realm, it's the mind, it's perception, it's all of that. And so it's about changing our perception to see what's actually here, what's actually in front of us, that's actually within us, that because we're focused outward, we can't see it. And so if we move down to the south, south is fire. So that's the place of action, the place of passion. Like that fire within us, the passions to do certain things, to complete certain projects, to like whether it's music or art or construction or whatever it is. Again, that flame is already burning within you. All you need to do is turn your attention to it and nurture that flame, right? And like I was just talking about Imbolc, it's interesting. I've got the cards out on my red cloth that from which I took my ribbon that I left out for Bridget. Bridget's the goddess of the forge, the goddess of the fire. And that's exactly what this is. It's like when we align ourselves with that fire within, and like, look at these antlers. That's antenna. That's out of the crown chakra connecting to spirit. And so when you move from that place, you're not moving on your own. You're moving with inspirited action. And when you move in that way, like elk, you can run for hours without tiring out. Because when you're in alignment, you're no longer doing it of your own effort. Spirit carries you. And you can do anything. And if we move up here to the west, which is water, water is the emotional realm, right? And we have turtle here. And it's interesting having these two opposite each other because while turtle is here, calm, centered, turtle carries her protection with her. She's always protected no matter where she goes. And because of that, she can go anywhere on land or in the water. And if she's Gamera, she can even go into the air. But so we have a better foundation than we think we do. It's just that we're swimming around in circles trying to catch our breath, trying to find out what we need, that we're not seeing this. Meanwhile, because of the splashing and the chaos and that dolphin is creating by splashing around on the surface, our inner self is sinking down below, so it's not engaging with the stormy, white caps and waves on the surface. And so if we can calm those waters, start to play and leap from the waters, right, and play, work in harmony and with the air, then our emotional selves can rise back to the surface in harmony, heart and mind in harmony together. First you're like, whoa, then you're like, whoa, then you're like, whoa, right? And so this is your eternal sanctity, your eternal safety, your eternal foundation that never changes, that you can never lose. That grounding factor of turtle who is always safe, always protected, doesn't have to put on armor because she is her own protection. And all she needs to do is tuck in to be safe. There's nothing wrong with withdrawing from the world to maintain your own integrity, your own bubble of reality, and then emerging once the coast is cleared. And if we move to the north is earth. So that is the physical realm. And up here we have Grandmother Spider, who is connected to so many different creation myths, right? In the web, the Native Americans always talk about the web of life, right? That's literally what's happening here. And Grandmother Spider is the spinner of the web, the spinner of life, the spinner of the world. And so it's like the difference between this and this is what we're weaving in our world. Our world is going to reflect whatever's inside of us. Just like Dr. Wayne Dyer used to talk about, if you squeeze a lemon, you don't get orange juice coming out. You get lemon juice. When you put pressure on something, you get out what is inside of it, right? And so if we're in chaos, if we're having a hard time breathing, if we're spinning around and stuff like that, our web is going to be wonky and chaotic. It's going to have no stability because this is a projection of this. This is how we present in the physical world, in the north, in the physical world, what our world looks like. And so we have the freedom to create whatever world we want. If we're in alignment, we create harmony. If we're not in alignment, we create conflict. And so this is kind of like the key to this, I think, is in the fact that this is opposite turtle, right? The key, I think, is to, like turtle, if the surface is stormy, turtle will drop down to the bottom of the pond or the bottom of the river, at least, or drop down to a level where there's no waves. It's silent, it's motionless, it's peaceful. This is your inner peace that when you find that discipline to meditate, to breathe, this is where you go. And at any point, once the waves stop, once the seas calm, then this can rise to the surface and you can actually bring that out into the world, into the web that you weave around you by your expectations, by your thoughts, by your words, by your actions. You literally create your world through those things. And the center, I know I'm going through these kind of quickly, more quickly than I normally do, but we're like, excuse me, coming up on it, 2.5 hours. So Hawk, this is the kind of the hub of the wheel, the spirit card, the one that connects all the others. And again, Hawk is the messenger of the gods, right? And if I bring that falcon in, that was from the earlier reading, it's like that presence, that divine presence. This is our goal. This is, and it's not like an unreachable goal, right? It's like Hawk is the messenger of the gods. Hawk can fly between heaven and earth, like a shaman having a foot in both worlds. You are that bridge. And so it is not beyond you to be that divine presence in the world. Like Horus being the falcon, being the divine presence in physical world. That is our goal. And the only thing that's required is flipping that, breathing, taking that breath, remembering like once or twice a day at least, remembering our divineness, remembering our divine essence, connecting, breathing it in, right? And becoming it, not just thinking it, becoming it. And that's how we carry that. And then we think of messages as conveyors of meaning, etc., communication, like one thing to the next thing, right? And the messenger being the bridge between two separate things. Well, when you are the divine presence in the world, there's not two things to connect. You are both things at the same time, and your very life, your very presence in the world is the message, is what makes everyone around you remember their own divineness. And so you heal by just being here. You heal the world. You inspire wholeness. You inspire love. You inspire connection just by being that divine presence in physical form. I keep feeling like there's something else Hawk wants to say, but I can't quite find that thread. Okay. It's embrace your greatness. Look at the dignity of that stance. The apex predator part of this breathing and finding our breath is in embracing our own integrity, our own authority, right? When you're an apex predator, there's no one above you. There's no one, you don't have to be looking over your shoulder for someone coming at you. You are sovereign in yourself. Your heart is your authority. So embrace that dignity, that majesticness, that apex predator. Like I just saw this meme again about you don't have to defend the truth. Truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend the truth. You just have to let it loose and it will defend itself. The truth will always rise to the surface. And when we make that our focus of seeking and becoming the truth, everything falls into place. So embrace your greatness. You are noble. You are sovereign. You are divine. As a physical being, you are a child of the divine, right? But just like Osiris and Horus, as the child of the divine, that means that's the physical you is the child of the divine, but the divine still rides inside of the physical form. Or even better, the physical form rides upon the divine within it. So rise to your heights. Allow yourself to rise to again, to your birthright. The sky is your home. And from that place, that higher frequency that is your birthright, you can see, you can look down and you can see how everything is connected. You can see you have so many more directions, possibilities, opportunities. You're not just stuck in one tunnel vision way of life. You can see everything and how it is all connected. And if you can see that, perception is everything. If you can see that connection from that high perspective, guess what? You are that connection because you are the one that's perceiving it. And perception is, if you know anything about the double slit experiment, I won't go into it because we'll be here for another hour, but it's the perception of something that breaks it, that breaks down the field of possibility. Everything is in a kind of a field of possibility. Even electrons and particles, they exist in a field of possibility. And it's only when we perceive it, when we look for it, that field breaks down into one single location, one single thing, one single object. But just like right now where you are, anything that is not in your immediate perception, right? Anything happening across the world or across the country, etc., is all field of possibility. It's not solid. It doesn't exist yet because you haven't perceived it yet. And it's by breathing, calling in our highest connection, our spirit, our true self, that we have this perception to see the connectedness, to be in abundance mindedness rather than scarcity mindedness, to realize the connection of all things. So that when we perceive something, we perceive it from that higher thing. And so our perception of it is a perception of connectedness, of unity, of oneness. And that makes all the difference in the world. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't lose anyone. I hope, oops, now my phone doesn't want to stay. There we go. Let's go back a little bit. Oofda. So I hope that made sense. It's so powerful. It's just like, wow. Have I mentioned I love my job? I love this stuff so much. And so thank you. If you weren't here perceiving this, it wouldn't be happening, right? And it's because of you coming, needing messages, having inquiries, wanting to know, right? That curiosity that fuels this. This wouldn't happen without you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me by watching the videos. Because the cards that show up and the words coming out of my mouth are a direct reflection of who is watching this. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Carly. I'm glad you liked it. We're all in this together, right? I'm not off on some, I mentioned like the Delphi Oracle, I'm not off on some cave, on some pedestal, spouting out wisdom or whatever. I'm learning things too, and it's because of you coming to watch me that I say things that I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I knew that. Or in the saying it out loud, things connect within me as well. So I thank you. And so that is our evening. So the plugs, if you made it this far, I thank you. Please share my video if you haven't already. Please subscribe to my channel. That helps me out and it helps others to find me. And there's other things like once you get a certain number, you get that super thanks or something like that. Or there's different perks. The more people that subscribe, etc. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for liking my videos. You know, and if if you hear someone like, God, I could really use a little guidance right now, send it to my YouTube channel. Tell them to watch one of these videos and choose a number, you know. And another way to support me, of course, is financially. This is my day job. This is what I do for a living. And of course, these videos are always free. But if you wish to reciprocate, if you got something and you want to do a different exchange of energy and wish to support me, my Venmo link is in the description. And I am so very grateful for anything that you would wish to donate. That helps me, like I talked about that earlier, where that helps me be able to focus on my own path, on what I am learning, so that I have more to bring back and tell to you. So I have more resources with which to teach or to do readings or to help you find your healing. So thank you so much for that. What else? If you would like a reading on your own, a one-on-one, I would love to make that happen. All you need to do is look at my website at perchingwolfstudios.net. You can learn more about me. You can see the different shamanic services I offer, readings and teachings and healings, oh my. And you can sign up for any of those things right from my website. Keep a watch out because coming up in March, I need to get into gear, but I'm gonna have some classes starting coming up in March. So they should be on my website. If you want to follow my Facebook page, sometimes I'm quicker about putting it up there than on my actual website. But I'll be having some introduction to shamanic journey classes. I'm going to restart I used to do a year-long shamanic course, a monthly course where we would explore a different aspect of shamanism each month. It was a whole year long, but a year seems to be too much for some people, so I'm gonna break it into like 6-month portions, And so I'm planning on starting that up again in March as well. So stay tuned. And I started also again Wednesday nights at the same time on my Perching Wolf Studios Facebook page. I've started to do my weekly sacred pipe ceremony again. So if you know what the peace pipe is, that's the sacred pipe, the Chanupa, and I am honored, privileged to be a pipe carrier to do those ceremonies. And so it's about praying, and we smoke the pipe together, even if you're not in my immediate circle. But we send our prayers to the smoke that carries our prayers to Great Spirit, and it's all about unity. It's about community. It's about bringing all the tribes of humans as one. So if you want to just sit in sacred space, if you want to try meditating and you want to sit in sacred space or something, you can come along with that. That might be an interesting place to try. So anyway, so I think that's all my announcements for now. I'm going to drum us out. I know I forgot to actually drum and set sacred space at the beginning of my video like I've been doing lately, but I did set sacred space before I started the video. So we'll go ahead and release our sacred space together. Spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the Fae, the spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. Our work for now is done, but you are always welcome in our circles. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Oh. All right, my friends, thank you again so much for joining me. Thank you for those new subscribers and everything. And I hope you will join me again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, especially those who made it all the way through, sticking with me. I so appreciate you. And so until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.